Hello, and here we are at Perfectly Paranormal, episode 160. My name's Annaschmidt, and I'm here every week to share with you true paranormal encounters and information about devils, demons, and dark energy beings that no one else talks about. And today, we've got a ripper for you today. A listener shared a rather brutal rant via email, saying that I work for the devil and that God will smite me and my psychic abilities. And that is the gentler version of what this person was saying. So I thought, I didn't respond to that email. I thought, right, I'm going to do an episode and we're going to explore the truth about our psychic gifts, God-given or evil. Now, this is a rather fascinating topic. There'll be lots and lots of controversy out there. People either believe, they don't believe, or they sit on the fence. That's all absolutely okay. But there's one very, very famous person who I'm not going to name, but most of you will probably work out who it is. This person for decades was the centre of all things New Age. This person was a writer, giving psychic readings. This person had professed visions of angels and wrote many, many books and published many, many decks of oracle cards. And then, after all those decades, there was a sudden, quite dramatic change that shocked the world when this person outwardly pronounced that all psychic abilities come from the devil and those who are using them are supporting darkness in the world. They may not be that person's exact words, but you get the gist. We all know where that's going. So why the sudden change? Well, this person found God and became a Christian. And there are strong beliefs amongst some Christians that any form of divination is a grave sin and an abomination against God. So looking online, there were many biblical references to divination, magic and sorcery, and they were all lumped in together. But I see divination as different to magic and sorcery. It's all about where it comes from, and the intention that it is sent to you with, and the intention that you are going to use it for. So seeking answers from a spiritual or a psychic approach doesn't necessarily lead people away from God. That's just my opinion. My personal psychic connection is really, really helpful in guiding me and giving me clues to a new path or a new direction, or feeling what's going on around me. Homes will show me in my mind, my third eye chakra, whatever you want to call it, my brow chakra. They'll show me what's happened in the home. So occasionally I'll see shadow people or demonic entities in different forms, because I must need to see them for some reason. So I don't doubt it. It's not that I go looking for it, it's just that it shows up. And it's always when I'm doing my work. Or if I go to bed, and I always ask my questions, I always ask what I need to know just before I go to bed. It's just what works for me. I ask the question, I just put it out there to the universe, and I go to sleep. Now, I might get the answer the next morning, or it might be the morning after that, or the morning after that. But I think it comes that way because that's when my brain is the clearest. It hasn't been clogged up with all that daily mumbo-jumbo that we have going on. So I'm really clear in the mornings, usually around, between 4 and 5 a.m. And that's when I hear the answer to my questions. Now, the problem is, that's personal divination. That's my personal connection to guides, angels, archangels, God, whatever you want to call it. Where my information comes from. It could be mass consciousness. I don't know where it comes from, but I trust the content and how it's delivered. Demons can't give you information that's going to be helpful. And the ways that they deliver it are always repetitive. They're always negative. They come with a harsh, pushy tone. I hear my messages usually with a male voice because I'm very masculine in myself, so I gravitate towards the male side of myself. And I'm going to take notice of a male voice. And it's always said once, it's very direct, and that's it. Whereas demonic messages or voices or something they're trying to trick you or tempt you into doing is repeated. It's repetitive. And they're trying to brainwash you and get it into your mind so that you'll do whatever the act or the deed is. It's very, very different. And this is where your spiritual discernment comes in and your BS meter, as I call it. So there can be a problem if people go outwardly looking for readings from other people. Now, I've been a card reader. I've done palmistry and numerology. I loved helping people, but it became a little bit of a problem. This is why I stopped doing it. And this is the absolute God's honest truth. People can become reliant on the reader telling them how to live their lives. And it's really, really dangerous. People give away their power. And this is also about people wanting that quick fix, wanting that quick answer, that quick response. They don't want to use their intuitions. They don't want to listen. They don't want to have to work it out for themselves. Or they can't be bothered making their own decisions. Some people have doubt and they need to get a confirmation. Sometimes readings are good for a confirmation about something you're sort of sitting on the fence. You don't know which way to go. But sometimes, this is what I found, is that people wanted a scapegoat, someone to blame if it all goes wrong. And they never learn to trust their own life choices. So I gave up doing readings. As much as I love doing palmistry and numerology, and I like doing the card readings with people, some people were ringing me at all hours of the day and night. And you'll love this. I got a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning and I wasn't very happy. I didn't actually answer it, but I looked when they left the text message. Some woman who'd seen me on Facebook when I was doing readings with another friend at that time, she wanted to know if her daughter was going to have a boy or a girl. Seriously, can't people wait? Can't they go to their doctors or have an ultrasound or however it is that they see the gender of a child? It was just on a whim that this woman wanted to know right there and then if her grandchild was going to be a girl or a boy. So that was one of the instances that made me go, I actually don't want to do this anymore. I just don't. So I gave up doing readings and I fully focused on doing the house clearing work. And it gave me more time to focus on observing and understanding the dark and the demonic level entities, what their tactics are, why they behave the way they do, and so on. Now, on the other end of the scale, I did some reading online. It says that esoteric Christianity, Hinduism and Buddhism, they recognise the potential of psychic abilities that are gained through repetitive spiritual practices like meditation, yoga, connecting the mind to the universe, or connecting the mind to mass consciousness or the higher vibrations or to the guides and the angels and so forth with positive intentions. So when you are doing your spiritual practices with positive intention, you're looking at the higher realms for help. Sometimes you need to ask a question. Sometimes, let's put it this way, sometimes you can't get your answers in the earth reality. You talk to people and people are so wound up in their own lives, you can't get in to see a counsellor. Your doctor's booked out for the next 8 weeks, as it does happen, and you've got no one to talk to. Your family won't listen, everyone's busy. Sometimes you've only got your guides, angels, archangels, God, Jesus, Buddha, whoever it is that you talk to. You've only got that for comfort and help. And I generally will go straight there. If it's a spiritual matter, if it's an energetic matter, that's where I go. Because that's what works. I know that it works. And when people do these practices and they're gathering guidance because they want to improve their lives, they want to improve their well-being, and they don't want to use it to do harm to others. We're going to talk about that very, very soon. So that's one end of the scale. And on the other end of the scale, because you know what I like to think about things and all possibilities, On the other end of the scale, I talk with religious demonologists and a dear friend of mine who is an exorcist, who says that psychic abilities are a divine gift from God. She herself has psychic abilities, and she uses her spiritual discernment, which is the key to understanding where the information is coming from and how to use it in life, and also her line of work. It's all about the how and why you use these abilities and the desired outcome. They say that our brain only uses a certain portion of itself. We are connected to consciousness. We are connected to the universe, if you want to look at it that way, or we are connected to God, if you want to look at it in a religious aspect. We have all the information, and how do we access that? Through our tangible vision, through touching tangible objects, or seeing or feeling tangible things. It doesn't work that way. Yes, people sometimes say they see angels and see God with their eyes. They may hear a voice. I profess to hearing voices. Not all the time. They don't tell me what to do. It's usually when I ask a question, I will wake up the next morning after asking the question, and about 20 centimetres from above my left ear on the outside of my head is usually where I get my voice. I just call it the voice. I don't know what it is. I know it's of a higher vibration because the information is helpful. It is a key. They give me the key word, or they give me something that is going to trigger me to go and actually find it myself, because that's how your higher vibrational supporters work. Now, is it the devil doing that? I don't think so, because the information is helpful. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Now, like I said earlier, it's all about the how and the why you use these abilities and the desired outcome. And we know humans have conscious choice for good intentions to improve their life or dark, nefarious intentions to do harm to others. I've talked extensively about spiritual discernment in episode 158. And also in episode 42, I did a rather interesting episode. It's all the information I love sharing. It's called Dark Disguises, False Angels and How They Trick Us, which is one of the ways that demons can get close to us. When we let our guard down and bam, they've got hold of us. So if you're interested, you can check those out to hear all the information. Now, psychic abilities, you either believe it or you don't believe it. But I have seen things, heard things, known information, had premonitions over the years. I can't explain where it comes from. There's no scientific way of proving it. It just is. Like I said earlier, we only use so much of our brains. I mean, what's to say that the other, I don't know what it is, I think it's the other 80% or 90% of our brains that we don't use aren't tapped into mass consciousness, aren't tapped into the universe, the Akasha records, whatever you want to say. But it is all out there. Now, psychic abilities and the spiritual world, they're really hard to navigate. Most people go into mental overload and they just don't cope. They get fearful, they get angry, they lash out because you can't tangibly prove psychic ability. Like I said earlier, I have seen and experienced so many things, whether it be like angels, spirit guides, the dark energy beings, spirits. It can't be a trick of the mind. I don't go looking for it. Yes, I am a professed paranormal addict, but it's part of my work. I don't go looking for it. It's not something that occupies my brain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It just isn't. So if I'm out somewhere and I'm all of a sudden feeling tingly and someone's talking to me and there's no one standing there, I know that it is most likely a spirit, possibly a dark energy being. That's where your spiritual discernment comes in. Because the devil is a deceiver. Demons are deceivers and they want to trick us. They want to trick us and manipulate us, to weevil their ways into our lives and cause utter chaos. Because by doing that, they keep us down, they keep our energy down, they keep our emotions low, we get dragged into negative ways of thinking, and they can control us. So is there New Age deception that the now Christian person I was talking about earlier, is there New Age deception? Absolutely. You bet. The New Age is an industry. And again, it's all about using your spiritual discernment and understanding how money-hungry, deceitful people can smell vulnerability a mile off. And if you want to know what I believe, well, like I said earlier, I use my psychic gifts all the time, personally, for work, doing this podcast. Sometimes I get information that comes on the spur of the moment that isn't in my notes. I have notes because otherwise I get extremely sidetracked and it is just a waste of your time. I like to be short, concise, give you the information and not overload people too much. So I use my psychic gifts to help humanity. If that's what you want in a sentence, that is it. I have weird talents. I'm not like your average. I don't do mediumship as such, but my talents are with understanding the dark beings, how they affect us, our homes, our pets, our relationships, our sleep, our addictions, our eating patterns, and so forth. Not many people want to go there, but I do, and I do it without fear, and I don't know why. I think I've been like it all of this lifetime, and I'm now nearly 60, and probably many previous lifetimes. It is just what I do. So the answer to that very big question from my person in the email, am I working for the devil? Absolutely not. God has given me this level of psychic ability, the psychic understanding, the seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the knowing in all different circumstances. And I teach people. I love helping people understand information in the most concise, easiest to understand ways. I just find it all totally fascinating. So I don't work for the devil. God has given me these skills. I can do his good work all the time. And I keep these entities away from people and I make their homes safer to live in. And I'm teaching people, like I said earlier, about how to keep dark and demonic entities away from themselves. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. And I don't care what people think about me. It is what it is. If I spark a conversation, like if someone sparks a conversation about me, for whatever reason and what I do, I figure I'm doing part of my work by getting them thinking about it. And where they take it, that's their problem, not mine. But at least I've planted the seed. So I'm still here after many, many, many years of doing this work. So honestly and truly, the devil can't be too fussed. Dark and demonic entities and the devil himself are all very aware of every energy worker in the world. Whether you read cards, whether you do crystal healing or sound healing or whatever type of energy work it is, you do Reiki, you do house healing, they are aware of all of us. They know who we are, where we live, they watch us and they observe us. Are we a threat? Are we not a threat? I simply just don't interact with them. If I'm doing a house clearing, I simply clean out homes and other places energetically, removing the vibrations that attract these entities, and they leave. They are not going to stay in any situation that doesn't suit their needs. They're very selfish, very self-centered, very ego-driven. It's just part of their nature. And I hope this episode doesn't go missing like the last one did. Oh my goodness, I had to record episode 157 3 times because it just kept getting corrupted. It kept disappearing. It doesn't matter. It got better and better each time. So if you want to learn the 8 top tips to see through the New Age fakers out there, go back and listen to episode 118, which I called Finding a Trusted Energy Worker. Someone asked me about that. How do I find a trusted energy worker? How do I tell the genuine people from the fakes? So I thought, why not do an episode that I can then share with people? People ask me the question. I don't have to write very long emails anymore. I just send them to the episode and they can listen and re-listen, look at the transcript and all the information is there. So when it comes to human deceivers, there are plenty of them. The charlatans in the New Age arena will give you readings and take your money. Are they genuine readings? Possibly, possibly not. What is the content? Is it beneficial to you? Oh, there's some challenges because good readings will sometimes throw in a few challenges. If you ever go to someone for whether it be a card reading or an energy healing or some sort. If they can a card reading, an energy healing, numerology, whatever it is, if they give you negative information that you go away with and it makes you feel sick, then that is not a good reader. Quick example before we finish today. I used to do palmistry. I love looking at the lines on people's hands. They tell all about your inner secrets. People used to say to me, "Oh, can you tell when I'm going to die?" And I went, no, a good reader is not going to get that sort of information. That is coming from the darkness. If they say, "Oh my goodness, I can see," if I'm looking at my hand right now. If I'm looking at the lifeline, "Oh yeah, look, at about the age of 40, there's a break in the lifeline." Doesn't mean I'm going to die. I mean, I'm still here at nearly 60. It means there is a change. Sharp endings to a line, breaks in a line, just mean a change. Maybe a positive change. Might be a slightly negative change that then turns into a positive change. Sometimes we've got to go backwards to go forwards. But people who give you outright negative information and then they sit there and look at you wanting to feed on your mental and emotional responses, they're making you vulnerable and they are feeding on you and they are energy vampires. So you've got to use your spiritual discernment. So on that note, we're going to look at episode 161. We are going to be looking at dimensions. We're going to talk about all the dimensions and how they work and their levels and their layers, if there are any. And what if they're all in the same place all at the same time? You will hear my thinking on this next week. My methods come from what I call live and learn. None of this is textbook stuff. Everything I share with you is what I have lived and what I have learnt, and hopefully some of it can help many of you if you understand the paranormal world. And I look forward to spending some dimensional time with you next week. If you like the content of this episode today, please think about leaving me a rating and a review. What reviews do is they let other people know your thoughts about my supernatural subject matter. People love reading reviews, and we're spreading the word about the real paranormal world around us. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today, and don't forget, if you want to share a paranormal experience just with myself, or you would like me to share one of your experiences through my podcast, you can do a voice recording, or you can write out your experience and I will read it exactly as you have written. You can email me at spiritualbeing44@gmail.com. And for information on paranormal house clearing, you can visit my website, Spiritual Being. You will find the address in the description box. And I look forward to sharing this spooky space again with you next week. And remember, life is perfectly paranormal.